Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to Thoughtful Nuggets and Pearls on Gift of Healing TV. I'm Sara Jane, and I am delighted to be joined by David Tyrrell. David, thank you so much for joining me for this.
Oh, it's really, I've been looking forward to it. So thank you for inviting me back again.
Oh, it's a real pleasure. You and I always have great conversations anyway. And the truth of the matter is, this is an impromptu Thoughtful Nuggets and Pearls. We haven't decided the topic till we start talking. So
Exciting times, eh?
So I think it's just, where do we start? Because we all have stuff going on in our lives, don't we? Sort of personally, I've had the frustration of a brand new computer over the last week. But David, I know you've had some of your own things that have gone on for you over the past week. So maybe we start with how things can feel and what we can potentially do to support ourselves through those type of things.
Yeah, I think as with many, I'm not alone, you're not alone in things that are happening. And I think the way the world is at the moment, or the way the energies of the world are, shall we say, everything that we're going through is absolutely amplified to what they would normally be. So things are kind of affecting us in a more acute way because of the way the heightened energies are on and around the planet at the moment. And things that would have, perhaps we would have sailed through, are now being a bit more prevalent in our lives. And we need to see how we can take care of that, because yes, like you, myself, have gone through 2 or 3 things in the past couple of weeks where normally you would sail through it, but you're really having to take note and take care of yourself to get through it. And you've really got to work on it. And I think it's important, because we are being affected by that in a lot more acute or intensity. We really need to focus on looking after ourselves a little bit more. And because it is intense, we need to ground ourselves a little bit more. We need to earth ourselves with the planet a little bit more, so that we are not getting knocked off balance in many ways, which many people will be feeling this at the moment.
100%. Now, you're sort of talking about grounding and earthing. Grounding is something I absolutely do on a daily basis, twice a day. It's part of my daily routine, and something I promised the universe a while ago, because I felt I had lead boots. And it was like, if I promise to ground every day, will you please take the lead boots away? So it keeps, so it's about keeping me here. But actually, I've got an earthing mat that I sit most evenings with my feet on. And yeah, this time of the year, summertime, it's very easy to do that barefoot. It's not so easy to do it barefoot in the winter. But so actually, I potentially do both. But so how do you ground?
Well, first of all, there's I would like to explain the difference between grounding and earthing, because I think that's important. Sometimes that can get mixed up. So from my point of view, for grounding, I just visualize myself really being held to the planet Earth and making sure I'm a solid mass, so to speak, on this earth, because that's where we're meant to be. Our soul, we're meant to be here, and we're meant to do the best we can while we're here. And if we get knocked off balance, then we're a little bit all over the place. So grounding is a visualization technique. And I see a cord coming down from my root chakra right down into the earth. And also I see roots, like tree roots, coming from my feet right down and holding me in the center of Mother Earth. And that on an energetic scale really helps to hold you in place. So that's kind of a grounding technique, seeing the tail from the root chakra coming down and see roots from your feet coming down. And it really does, the power of intention is incredible. So if you put this out, it really does make a difference. Earthing is where you need to go bare feet on the ground, not on concrete, but on soil, on the sand, wherever you can get, in the forest, on the grass, because we can then pick up the good vibes and the healing vibes from Mother Earth through our feet. And that's one thing. We've got these shoes which insulate us and isolate us from the power of healing from Mother Earth. So the more you can get your shoes off, your socks off, and get your feet onto Mother Earth in whatever aspect you can, the healthier we are going to be on an energetic scale. It really, really is important. You don't need that much space. A square foot is all you need, just somewhere you can put your feet, your bare feet onto the ground. And if you combine that with a grounding exercise, you're going to hold your energy and look after your own self in a lot better way.
Yeah. Though in the respect of sort of grounding, it's roots down. And within my home, I have where two ley lines cross. And certainly for the evening one, I stand on that point within the house. So I'm popping my roots down where ley lines cross. Sort of because the beautiful energies, the house I'm in, which is probably why I've been here nearly 20 years, sort of because I'm meant to be. So sort of, but yeah, the self-care isn't just, is it, about what we eat, what we drink? It is about all the other things, and that protection, that grounding, that connection to each other. So it's the people you're connecting with. Are you connecting with like-minded souls that you can have amazing conversations with? You can say things that you wouldn't necessarily say to, in my case, probably to my mother, actually. Sort of, right. So because, but my youngest sister, there are things I can say to her. But I've been so lucky to connect with so many people like yourself that I can talk openly about channeling the dragons and openly about speaking light language, because it's not something that will freak them out. And
no.
So it's having the conversations. It's the food, it's the water, it's the grounding, it's the connections. It's what are you doing in your life that helps? For me, it helps my soul to sing.
And I think that's important. We have to put ourselves in the right environments for our whole being. And it's not just for us, it's for everybody else. And we've got to link into the like-minded souls that we connect with, the like-minded environments. And I think people are becoming more aware of where the energies are not right for them. And it may not be just right for that day. And that's fine. But your body is telling you, this is the alarm system saying, this particular environment is not right for you today. It could be okay for you tomorrow, but listen to your body. I think that's really important. Everything we should know is in here. So if it's telling us this is not right, it's telling us telling us it for a reason, and we need to take notice of that. You know, you know what it's like. We have to work, and sometimes we are in work environments that do not suit us. Now, there's sometimes not a lot you can do about that, but already your body is saying, this isn't compatible with you. And sometimes we have to work through it. But it's learning to listen to your body, because it is taking care of you, saying this place isn't right for you to go shopping today, or this isn't a place for you to be at this particular time. And we have to listen to it more and more for that self-care for ourselves.
Gut instinct, intuition, listen to them. But also, I think about if something stops you from going out or leaving at the time you wish to leave at or whatever, trust that there is a reason within the universe that you weren't meant to leave at the time you thought you were meant to leave. And a number of times this happens, it's just like, you never know what would have happened if you'd left earlier. It's like, if I'm in a hurry, I've asked the angels, I always ask them, safe and swift journeys, never swift and safe. Think about the order you put things, because they can take you very, very literally. And you ask for swift, followed by safe. They aren't necessarily compatible. That if you've asked for safe and as swift as possible, then there's more support that you can be given for that.
Yeah.
Thinking about it. And I remember sort of asking the angels for, and it was the order. And this is what taught me about the order of asking for support. Because yes, this is part of our self-care. You know, it might sound strange, but I was meeting a group of friends. This was several years ago, well before COVID. It was a beautiful 2nd of October Sunday morning, and the world and their wife were out. The sun was shining. It was a glorious, almost summer day. And we'd already organised several weeks before that we'd meet on that day down on the beach at a specific point. And as I was driving there, I thought, oh my goodness, I really haven't left enough time. So I asked for safe journey. I asked for swift as possible. And the closer I got, the parking was practically non-existent. And I said to the angels, please, can I find put it in the wrong order. I said, please, can I meet my friends at the time I'm meant to meet them? And please, can I find the parking space in the road we normally park in? I could never remember the road, but they knew where we normally parked. So over in that area. I couldn't find a parking space, but I drove to the end, as far as I could along Shore Road, and I got to see them at the time I should. I then turned round to go back. I said, just carry on without me. I'll see if I can find you. I've got to find a parking space. I turned around, went back up that road, and there was a car pulling out as I pulled up. So think about the order you ask things.
I think it's very, very important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because we are creating spells with words.
Yeah.
And that is also about looking after ourselves. Like you said, be careful what you wish for. There's always been that saying. But we talk to ourselves and we put ourselves down.
Yeah.
And we are making ourselves poorly, or we're making ourselves not shine as bright as we can. And that's self-care as well. We need to talk to ourselves nicely, because that is the biggest thing, because our body will listen to us and say, oh, I'm not good today. You're looking in the mirror and thinking, oh, that's not a good day. and you've already implanted that within yourself, or you're not looking good today, and that you take on board, and that's part of self-care, being aware of how you speak to yourself,
100%.
being aware of what you're speaking generally and asking for. We have to take care of ourselves on so many levels, and it's not just, as you say, the food that we eat and everything else, or what we drink or whatever. It's also how we speak to ourselves. We have to take care of ourselves and be kind to ourselves.
Yeah, it's something, because everything that we look for outside of us is already within us. And the only person it's important to love us is us. For me, it should be me that loves me. For you, it should be you that loves you. It doesn't matter whether other people do or don't. It's the importance is to love ourselves. The importance is to trust ourselves, to believe in ourselves, to praise ourselves. So many times, and I can do it sort of morning and sort of evening, and sometimes as I go to bed, it's just like, do you know what? You've done really well this morning. And it doesn't matter if all you've managed to do is get out of bed, because you praise yourself for that. That, as you said, your body then takes that on board. And I have this new computer, and I love technology in some respects, and I really don't in others. But I am so proud of what I've achieved granted with help, with getting this new computer and using it, because I'm not technically minded in any way, shape or form. I work with energy, not this type of energy.
Yeah.
But I have to work with this if I'm going to do these programs with David and so many other people. And so it's have a confidence in yourself and praise yourself, congratulate yourself. You've done really well. I am so proud of you. Because that talking to yourself, I've got a younger sister, and she will not names really, nothing really rude, but she'll say silly thing, silly thing. And it's just, please don't speak to yourself like that. No, my body understands. No, your body doesn't. And I can't get that through her thick skull.
And it's very, very important. We don't realize how we affect ourselves, or how the outside world affects us as well. And that's part of self-care. And self-care, we think of, we've got to do this, we've got to do that. And yes, a massage or energy healing or whatever, or a day at the spa is so important. It's not a luxury. It really isn't a luxury. It's a necessity. And we really need to take care of ourselves on all levels, which includes earthing, grounding, looking after ourselves, speaking to ourselves nicely. And a lot of these things for self-care doesn't need to cost anything at all, and they can be very simple. I tilt, and you'll know this from the past, I have a great thing when all the energy, I'm just going to put it as all energy that comes in, or the majority of energy comes in, will come in at the solar plexus, because that's our energy center, our nervous system. And it comes in here. And if it's not ideal for us, let's put it that way, or is of a vibration that can drag us down, it all comes into the solar plexus. And if it builds up, our body needs to process that. And if it's not of a good vibration, then this turns in, we know energy turns into physical problems. We worry, it's an energy or a frequency. And then we get ulcers. So all this energy we're trying to process that isn't the best is going to affect our stomach, it's going to affect our digestive system and everything else. So a simple technique to protect ourselves, I think, is the right word, from all the vibration that is not required for us. Get your left hand, put it over your solar plexus, get your right hand and place on top. Okay? And then just say from your heart and not your head, because you might as well say nothing. From your heart, say, this is for me, this is mine. And just hold that position for a couple of minutes, 2 or 3 times a day. And you will find that all the energy that is maybe pulling you down or draining you will stop coming in. And that is self-care for you. And it costs you nothing. And you can sit on the bus to do it. You can sit in a restaurant and do it. Those of you that have team meetings, which I used to be a part of, they're lovely. But you put your hands like this, and you will notice a change in the energy, and you will feel yourself being pulled back or stepped back from the furore of all that's going on. Simple self-care, but it's so needed in this time of real intense energies.
You touch on the self-care of massages, etc., whatever it is, whether it's a reflexology, an Indian head massage, whatever it is.
Yeah.
But also a walk in nature. That seriously, that is my go-to. I'm very lucky. I've got a little woodland just over the road, and going for a walk in that woodland is lovely. But if I can get out, I don't live far from the beach, but I'd still have to get into the car to go there. I can walk across the road to the woods. But
right.
It's doing those things that help you to relax, that help you to unwind. So it might be for you that you prefer your favorite piece of music that you just allow yourself to sit to. Or maybe it's something you really like to move to. And if you're on your own, you can put it as loud as you like to a certain degree, and you can move to it. It doesn't matter what it is. It's something that supports you to help your energies feel better. And we can have fun with this. This isn't meant to be serious. It's meant to be about having fun, about enjoying life. And the word that kept coming into my mind was gratitude. The more we are grateful for, if we're concentrating, if we're giving our energies to the things we are grateful for, the more we will bring those things we're grateful for into our lives. If your concentration is on, oh, for goodness sake, why does this keep happening to me, etc., 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 all this stuff, negative stuff, that's all you're going to have coming at you. But I also would ask people to think about, and in some respects, so much easier said than done, I really do understand that, because I still have difficulties with it. But if somebody says something that's not very nice, one, you can start by saying, did you mean what I heard? And then rephrase it so that they can then say, yeah, that's exactly what I meant. And you think, okay, fine. Then you've got to decide where you take that friendship, relationship, whatever. But it's also a matter of, it's their stuff. In the majority of cases, it actually has nothing to do with you at all. It's what they're going through. So if we can, to a degree, just allow those things to go over the top of our head. You get too much of that, you've got to decide whether you wish to keep that individuals in your life.
I think that's right.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of ties in with being the true, authentic self.
Yeah.
Because so often we get pulled into environments and places that we allow ourselves to be pulled in, and we're to different places that really are not us, but us being the people we are. You know, you don't like to say no, but you're being pulled into an environment that doesn't suit you. It's not right for you, and therefore it drags your energy down. So really being quite discerning and saying, okay, who am I? What do I need? What environments do I need? And being authentic to yourself will also be a way of taking care of yourself, because you're not putting yourself in places or situations that are not right for you. And then you're getting knocked with energies that don't suit you again. And that's important, to being discerning and being your true, authentic self. For you,
I think when we sometimes find ourselves in a place that we would probably no longer choose to be, but
yeah,
are we meant to be there to help raise the vibration? So there are other things for protection. I like to ask Archangel Michael for his deep blue cloak of protection. You can ask Archangel Shamuel for the pink bubble of love. So if you're going into a place or a situation because, I mean, I don't know, you're going to very close friend's funeral, but it's an energy. I'm not a great one for going into churches anymore. And having said that, we're talking about going to Rosalind Chapel, but I think that's actually totally different because there's different reasons for going. But I think if you find yourself going into a place where the energies don't feel quite right for you, maybe you're meant to be there to help raise the vibration of that place. So
that's
how are you feeling? How does it feel right? Even if you're a Reiki practitioner, I'm not necessarily saying you go into a church and you start doing a whole load of sound energy, because it probably wouldn't be appreciated by anybody else listening. The fact that you know what you're doing is beside the point. But if you're a Reiki practitioner, it doesn't stop you from putting your hand either on the wall of the church or on a pew or something and just opening the Reiki channel. It doesn't stop you from inviting the angels in. It doesn't stop you from inviting and bringing in an energy that is a higher energy. So sometimes we find ourselves in places that we think, what am I doing here? Well, there's a reason, and the universe has taken you there for that reason. So it's about trusting ourselves too, within the protection, within the gratitude, within the self-care, within the grounding and everything else that we've talked about here. It's opening up to sometimes there are reasons beyond what we think is right for us.
That's so true. That really is so true. But if we go into those places, make sure, as you say, we are protected. Everybody will have their own way of protecting themselves by intention or just saying, please look after me while I'm here.
Yeah.
And make sure I suppose you could say, make sure I'm at my highest vibration while I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can, and once again, the power of words and intention, we really underestimate them, to be perfectly honest.
It's the intention.
But we do we do need to take care of ourselves, and things don't have to cost anything. They just cost a little time to think and just be aware of what we're thinking, what we're saying, and how we're saying it. And a lot of self-care can come into that, can't it?
Oh, 100%. Because It's up to us. We are here to participate in our own lives. And if we don't participate, if we aren't interactive and proactive in our life, and that's the important thing, is life, in the majority of cases, doesn't just happen to you. Some way or shape or form, you've drawn things to you. So if you are, I'm just trying to think what the word is. If you really think about things and you become active and proactive in your life, and you say, this is specific. But do you know what? What do they say? If you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans.
Yeah.
So be prepared to have them changed on you. And I love that. And I know they always use he, but I would use she as well, because I absolutely believe there's that absolute connection. The divine is the masculine and the feminine. So anyway, we're coming to the end of our program. This has been a brilliant conversation. Thank you, David. But is there anything you'd like to add before we close?
I just think it's being aware of yourself at this moment, really being aware of you, who you are, speaking to yourself nicely, taking care of yourself. I think that's what we have to do, and not forget and not neglect ourselves. You know, the world is the way the world is, and we are here for a reason, but we have to take care of ourselves. So it is being aware. Don't neglect ourselves. Don't get so caught up in everything else that we don't forget to look after ourselves. Because at the end of the day, you have to look after number one and be selfless, not selfish, but selfless, and look after number one. Then we can help with everybody else in some way. But we can't do that unless we're fully in our own strength and power. So be aware of the self and be kind to the self.
Very simply put, you can't pour from an empty pot. And once you've given everything away to everybody else, they're going to survive and you may not, putting it very bluntly. So stop giving your energy away in what is actually can be quite negative for everybody else. Because I've said this for a long time. When you're constantly saying yes to everybody else and no to yourself, you're holding two people back. You're not enabling them to do things for themselves, but you're also preventing yourself from doing the things that are right for you. So having the courage to say no, and you don't have to give a reason. Be true to yourself. And if somebody calls you selfish for saying no, just remember, they are the ones who are being selfish for expecting you to do what they want, rather than doing what you know is right for you. And what is right for you is usually totally right for them as well. So it is take care of number one, then you can be here to support so many more, but in a completely different way. David,
absolutely.
Thank you so very much. If you're watching this on YouTube, you'll find our websites and the Gift of Healing TV websites all under the video on YouTube. It's David Tyrrell, TYRRELL.com for David, and I'll let you find mine if you wish to. If you enjoyed this conversation, there are more thoughtful nuggets and pearls on the website. You go onto there and you go onto the catch-up pages, and you'll find under the catch-up pages, you'll find thoughtful nuggets and pearls. Love doing these little programs. We try to keep them relatively short, so they're easier to listen to. And so I hope you'll go and explore many of those. David, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure, and hopefully we'll speak again soon.
Yeah, it's been great. Thank you for the invitation.
My pleasure, David. See you soon. Take care. Bye.
Bye.